Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
All right. So I think we'll just give everybody else a few more minutes and then we'll get started. All right. Probably starting in about 2 more minutes.
We should go ahead and get started, Mario.
All right. Sounds good. So I just want to say thank you to all of you who've come today. My name is Mario St. Fleur of Everyday Web. I'm here with my business partner, Dan Jacob, and we're definitely excited to have this webinar. So today's topic is going to be centered around AI, technology, and operations. So let me go ahead and share my screen.
By the way, guys, if you have any questions or anything, there's a chat box in the bottom right. So feel free to just throw any questions in there in the meantime.
Yeah, and while I'm going through this presentation, if you're putting your questions in the chat or as I'm going through it, definitely feel free, and I'll stop, and then we can kind of answer those questions as we go through it. So, all right, let's get started. So thank you so much again for coming to this webinar. Again, today we're going to be discussing AI, technology, and operations. and how you can utilize AI within your business. Again, my name is Mario St. Fleur of Everyday Web. We're a local digital marketing agency here in Philadelphia with the focus of helping small businesses create and build an online presence. So predominantly we help them with their website as well as building out their e-commerce store. So let me go ahead. So on today's webinar, I'm going to be, again, discussing an overview of AI technology operations management. I'm also going to go a little bit into social media. And then before we wrap up, there's going to be a little quiz to kind of just recap everything that we kind of talked about, make it a little bit more interactive. And then at the end, again, we'll allow you some time to like ask any questions that you may have. And also too, we'll probably provide you with the slide deck, and then there's going to be like a glossary of like different terminologies and everything that that are used. So to start off, technology operations, like especially within small businesses, I feel like small business owners don't ever really think about it, but as I have here, technology plays a role in every business, especially small businesses. Now more than ever, we have the use of technology to make our day-to-day tasks easier and focus on what truly matters to help our business grow. Again, during this presentation, I'll be discussing AI automation as well as various software integrations, providing real examples as to how we use them within Everyday Web, but also how technology might be used within different industries as well. So just some important things to know about operations. Operations is the surviving tool with sales and marketing for any businesses long-term. Putting processes and tools in place ensure the quality of your products and services will create happy customers and employees, thus allowing longevity and growth for your business. So some of the terms that you might hear within operations are standard operating procedures. They're processes that businesses put into place for employees to follow, from providing a product or service to their customers to how to handle various tasks internally. So as I go through this presentation, I'll also show you an example of like an SOP that we have here at Everyday Web. And then
Mario, real quick, I think we can only see your cover for right now. So
sorry, yeah, I feel like Google kind of is a little buggy sometimes. So let me.
Welcome in, Andy.
All right, let me know if you can see the presentation deck.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. Again, if that happens anytime throughout, please stop me. So let me just kind of recap the slide again. So just some important things to know within operations is that it is a surviving tool along with sales and marketing for any business's long-term success. It's important to put processes and tools in place to ensure the quality of your products and services will create happy customers and employees, which increases the longevity and growth of your business. So some of the terms that you might hear within operations are standard operating procedures. They're basically what a SOP is. It lists out processes that businesses put into place for employees to follow, from providing a product or service or tasks that are repeated internally. And then another tool or another terminology that is starting to become more and more popular is automation. So automation is the process of putting tools in place to handle repetitive, unimportant operational activities within your business. So again, in this presentation later on, I'll show some examples of how you might use different tools like Zapier, for instance, for automation within your company. And then another key important metric to kind of understand is key performance indicators. So basically, this allows your business to properly measure what's working and not working. And then it helps you identify what areas your business can improve in. So now I'm going to show you an operational plan example. So an operational plan is a detailed plan that outlines the day-to-day activities and resources needed to achieve the strategic goals of an organization. It translates the high-level strategic plan into specific actionable steps, defining who does what, when, and how. Essentially, is basically just a roadmap for how a company will actually run its business. So let me go ahead and show you that example. So as you see here, I actually used AI to kind of assist with just creating some examples of an operational plan. So again, I'll show you later on Gemini and how that works and how you might be able to create your own operational plan. So as you see here, I kind of took different positions and how an operational plan will kind of fit each position. So as you see within this first line here, the area that is focusing on is customer service. And basically the goal here is to reduce the average customer service email response by 50%. And then from there, you would identify what steps are necessary to take to reduce the email response time. So as you see here, it says implementing a ticketing system to track and manage incoming emails, developing standard email templates for common inquiries, training customer service representatives on efficient communication and problem-solving techniques, as well as monitoring response time daily, and also identifying areas for improvement. And then the important thing too that you want to identify is who's going to be responsible for overlooking this. And then also too, you want to make sure that whenever you're creating an operational plan, you always have a timeline as to when this task or activity should be completed by. And then another example is for customer service. If they're looking to improve customer satisfaction, you want to increase online reviews by 15% in the next quarter. So I could even give an example of us at Everyday Web. One of the things that we've been doing to try to increase like online reviews is once a project is completed, we kind of have like sequences in place where all we have to do is just kind of put their email address into our sequence, and then it follows up with them automatically until they respond and provide a review for us. So those are just some different ways that you can kind of utilize technology to, in this example, increase customer satisfaction as well as customer reviews. And then the last point is if you're having like an e-commerce store and you want to increase sales by 20%, you can implement personalized product recommendations on the website, as well as running targeted social media ads, and then optimizing your website for mobile, because especially in today's world, everybody's on their mobile device, everybody's moving around. So they're not always like stationary on their like laptop or computer. So making sure that your website is optimized for mobile is essential to e-commerce, especially in today's world. And then some other things that you might do is just offer promotions and things like that to encourage people to buy more from your company. So yeah, so that's pretty much just the overview of like operational plan. Again, like I said, I use AI to kind of create this. So I'll show you later on, but yeah, AI can definitely assist with a lot of the different things within your business. Go to the next slide. All right, so the next thing is I'm going to provide an example of Notion. So Notion is a tool that we use here at Everyday Web. It's a project management tool, and we also utilize it to kind of document, again, different goals, different meetings, different things and objectives that we have planned out. Notion is a great tool to allow you to kind of manage and have a place where everything's kind of centralized and all your information is stored. So as you see here, this is our Notion doc, our Notion workspace, I should say. And we have different like categories and workspaces that we kind of keep track of. So as you see here on the left, we have one for like our blog articles. So this allows us to keep track of who's posting what blog article, what topics we've already utilized, as well as what keywords we're using within our articles. So basically, again, it just allows us to track and maintain what's already been done and what still needs to be worked on. So in this example here, I just kind of wanted to create like a document that we utilize like every week when we meet and we have our discussions and everything. The cool thing again about Notion is that you can kind of create like custom properties and custom fields. So depending on whatever information you kind of want to keep track of, Notion really does a great job of making it easy and simple to really build your project management tool however you want it to be built. And there's other tools out there like Jira, trying to think of some other ones off the top of my head, but I think for us, like Notion is very simple and easy to use. Like I know for Jira, I've had past experience with it. It's probably more best in like a technical software, like engineering type of perspective, just because of the fact that Jira is kind of built more for like being like a ticketing system to keep track of agile like projects and things like that, as opposed to Notion is kind of more of a more modern, simplistic type of project management tool. So I just wanted to show you this. And some of the things that we like to do here is we'll have like different templates of different things that we repeatedly use. So again, having the technology kind of working for you, right? And these tools make it so easy to, if you're going to create repetitive tasks and activities, you don't always have to manually kind of create them. You can kind of create a template, save it, and then you kind of use it repeatedly and add new information as you go along. So again, this is a tool called Notion that we like to use. If you have any questions now or at the end, definitely be glad to answer them. All right. So I know that's a lot of information, but what I want you guys to kind of think about right now is when you're choosing technology for your company, you always want to ask yourself the right questions as to determining if your technology, do you need this technology now? Do you need it later? What type of technology? What do you need it to do, etc. So as I have here, some of the questions you might ask yourself is, why am I using technology for my business in the first place? What do I want to achieve with this technology? What are some areas of my business that needs to be automated or offloaded? Or what technology actually make this process easier? Or is it better to have someone like an actual physical person, like a contractor or VA, or even just hire someone part-time to assist you? And then how long will it take to incorporate this technology? That's definitely a big one, because if you're someone who's like constantly busy, you don't have the time to really sit down and map out how the technology is going to work within your company. It might be best to just hire someone and have someone come in, and then they could be the one to kind of assist with setting up the technology and the workflow that is more proper for your business. And then will it actually help your business grow if you are going to incorporate this new technology? And then one of the most important questions, obviously, is always, what are the costs associated with this technology? And then do you currently have the funds in place to be able to actually afford this technology as to where your business is currently at? So the next thing I want to go on to is tech and retail-based businesses. So again, just kind of highlighting how technology might be used within different industries. So if you have like a retail company, you probably have already heard of some of these different tools like MailChimp, which is, as you know, is a email marketing tool that allows you to basically simplifies the process of creating campaigns through like a drag and drop builder. And then it also allows you to target and create segments within your email marketing to target particular customers, depending on where they're at in the journey or what demographic they are. And then Clover, which is like a POS system that a lot of retail businesses use to help accept payments, manage inventory, tracking, etc. And then HubSpot, that's another tool that we use here at Everyday Web, is a CRM, which basically allows us to manage our like clients and new prospective businesses that we want to work with. And this is what we use to send out like our sequences and some of our different automations that we have to maintain and build relationships with people that we work with. So now I'm going to show you guys an example of MailChimp and how we use MailChimp here at Everyday Web. So, oh, 1 second. Actually, let me stop sharing my screen. Just logging me out. Okay. All right, sorry about that, guys. Let me go ahead and share my screen again. You should be able to see my screen.
Yeah, we can see it.
Awesome. All right. So this is MailChimp. This is our dashboard. So I logged in, and the cool thing again about MailChimp is, and the cool thing in general about software in today's world is that it integrates with a lot of different software. So I won't go too much into this, but there are automations as to where you can automate a lot of the processes. Like for instance, let's say someone signs up for your newsletter. If you create like a campaign for whenever someone signs up, you can create an automation which will automatically send out an email welcoming them, letting them know if you want to add different resources to that welcoming letter or your website and some of the different things to just allow them to kind of feel like they're being communicated with within your process and everything like that. So in this example, as I have here, this is just like a campaign that we created like a couple months ago, which is one of our weekly newsletters. And the cool thing again about MailChimp is that it makes it very easy to just kind of drag and drop different elements, different sections within a newsletter, buttons. You can easily add links and so forth. And then you can also kind of just track your audience as well as who's responding to your emails, who's opening them, are they clicking links, and some of the different things. And it tells you the different areas that you need to improve in. So I'll just kind of quickly go over this. Let me see.
Real quick, Mario, we can only see the MailChimp home screen.
I'm sorry about that, guys. Yeah.
You have to share your home screen, I think.
Great. Can you see my screen now?
Yep.
Okay. All right. So let me actually go back real quick. So as I was mentioning too, with MailChimp, is that it's very easy to kind of use, especially if you're not like too tech savvy or anything. Like they have a great drag and drop builder, which makes it very easy to replicate and create campaigns. So especially like nowadays, business owners, guys who don't have the time to manually kind of go through things. So MailChimp really makes it easy to kind of just create something, create a template, and just continuously replicate it. And really all you have to do at that point is just update the information, depending on how often you're sending out your campaigns, whether it's weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly, or quarterly. So I'm going to show you just quickly like a report. So the cool thing about MailChimp is that it kind of tells you the analytics side of like when you sent out your newsletter and some of the different things. So in this example here, we had about 60% of people who open up the email, 10% click the links, and then
I don't think we are seeing what you're presenting because we're still at the dashboard.
what's going on? All right. Let me see. Okay, can you see it now?
Okay, I think it looks better.
All right. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Google is kind of acting a little weird. But as I was saying, I just wanted to show an example of like MailChimp and the reporting side of things and how you can kind of take this information to improve your campaigns and everything. So as you see here on my screen, this is just one example of like a campaign. We had about a 60% open rate. Then we had a click-through rate of like 10%. So basically what the click-through rate is that people who actually clicked a link within the email that was sent to them. And basically if they interacted with it, they clicked it, and then they kind of continued about their way, as well as like the bounce rate. So bounce rate basically just means that did the email that was used, was it not like valid or correct? And then unsubscribe is if someone unsubscribed after the email was sent. So MailChimp does a really great job of just kind of showing you simplistically like the analytics and like of each campaign and what happened throughout the campaign and everything. So let me continue on. So now I'm kind of going to shift over to technology within more service-based businesses. So Gemini, ChatGPT, you can definitely utilize that tool. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. You can definitely find a use case as to why you would use AI to, whether it's creating like a job description, or if you want to create some type of email sequence, or just coming up with ideas for like posting on social media. Gemini and ChatGPT can help you a lot in those different areas. And then Calendly, if you're using it for like a booking tool, if you're looking to schedule meetings and some of the different things like that, Calendly, along with, there's other tools out there that are very similar that allow you to, add automation and allow people to come to your website or wherever to book a meeting with you. And then Salesforce is just a different CRM, similar to HubSpot. Again, going back to my point that I mentioned earlier, when it comes to technology, it's just understanding the technology, what benefits that it offers, and how that'll be beneficial to your company. Because, Salesforce might make sense for one company and it could be in the same industry as you, but how you work and how your processes work, HubSpot might make more sense. So again, whenever you're picking technology, the good thing too is that there is competition. There's various different types of technologies out there. So you can always select the one that's right for you and what you need. So now I'm going to show you some examples of Gemini and Calendly. So let me go here. So this is Gemini. I'm sure at this point, a lot of people I'm sure you know Gemini as well as ChatGPT, and I'm sure you also have used it in some capacity to, again, whether you're looking for ideas for social media or you're looking to create some type of plan, like a job description or some type of, again, like I mentioned earlier, with like operational plan. Gemini is so helpful in some of those different areas. And the cool thing about it is that once you input a prompt, it'll give you different responses. So like, for instance, if you wanted to create like some type of sequence for you, it'll give you different options based off of like the tone and the manner that you want the sequence or the email to be sent out as. And then you can kind of just pick and select whichever one you want. So yeah, I'm just going to kind of go through an example of like a job description. So let me think here. So So the other thing too that I want to know when it comes to using Gemini or ChatGPT, the more descriptive that you are, the better likely that it is that it will give you the output that you want. So whenever you're right, like, and honestly, even companies, they're hiring people who are very adverse and knowledgeable within using AI, because however detailed you are in the prompt that you're giving it, again, the better information that it's going to provide you. So I just wanted to write out this example. And as you see here, in seconds, it's able to just literally spit out like a description as to whatever role that you're looking for. And you don't even have to go through research and try to find like a description. Using these tools, you can easily just give it a prompt and it's going to just create something for you in seconds. So like, and the thing too with this is it's not always going to be perfect. So you definitely want to make sure you kind of go through and you specify exactly what it is that you're looking for. And then the cool thing too is you can tell it to update it based off of if there was like some type of additional information that you wanted to add, or if it didn't leave anything out, you can tell it like, hey, can you update to include this? Or actually, and I'll just type this out now. You can say, hey, can you include salary or something like that for like Philadelphia, for instance. Not sure why I did it like that, but hold on. And this is the cool thing too, is like you can kind of go back and edit like a prompt. So I can easily edit and then change it, and then it'll revise it to whatever I tell it to do. If I say like 80K, for instance. All right. I have no idea why it's popping out like this, but let me go back up actually. Let me do this. Okay. All right. So as you see here, again, I was able to kind of go back and update it to mention that, for instance, if you know your salary or if you want to do it hourly, however you want to do it, again, the more information that you give the input, the more descriptive the output would be. So as I did here, I mentioned that, can you just add salary for 80,000 per year? And it was able to take all the same information that I already had and then just update it to include that additional description of the role. So again, when it comes to Gemini and ChatGPT, it does allow you to do anything you can think of. You can ask it any type of prompt and it'll give you as much information as you need to be. But the thing, again, to make sure is to be as descriptive as possible, or it's just not going to fully understand exactly what you're looking for. Okay. Oh, wait. Actually, I wanted to talk about Calendly. So this is the tool that we use for like scheduling meetings here at Everyday Web. As you see here, we have different event types, 30-minute, 60-minute. The cool thing with Calendly is that it allows you to create these different event types, and then you can share it within your team. And then it makes it so easy to share it like on your site or like social media, wherever you want to display it at. And then it also integrates with like your Google Calendars, as well as like any other tool that you use to send out to people to book time with you. And it has like a whole library of like different applications and everything that you can kind of integrate with. So as you see here, we have it connected to our Google Meet so that whenever we're creating a new event, Google Meets is automatically always one of the options that people can select from to book some time with us. And then we can connect it to our HubSpot forms and everything like that. We also have it connected to like our payment tools, Calendly. So for instance, if we're creating like an event and we want somebody to make a payment, we have Stripe embedded so that if they're booking time with us, for instance, they can make that payment if that event type is requiring a payment or something like that, for instance. And then you can integrate it with like Zapier. So I'll show you guys that shortly. Zapier is a really great tool for automation. Basically what Zapier is, it's a tool that integrates with like a lot of different softwares as to where you can kind of create automations. You can connect Stripe and Notion, for instance, or Notion and like a PandaDoc, which is like a proposal tool. And it just makes it very easy to create the synergies between all these different applications. So let me actually go ahead and share that. So I'm just going to kind of go ahead and create like an example here. And then the cool thing about, again, going back to AI, all these tools basically have AI embedded in some capacity. So for instance, right, if you wanted to come here and not manually kind of go through and select which applications you wanted to use, you can just, as it says here, when I add a reaction to a Slack message, create a card in Twilio, you can just create a prompt and it'll create that workflow automation for you based off of the prompt that you provided it. So the example I have here is Typeform. So Typeform is just a tool that we use for collecting information from people. So as you see here, I gave it a prompt, and then now it's working on creating what they call a Zap, which is just the workflow, creating that automation so that whenever we send out a form to someone and they fill it out, that information is automatically taken and populated to wherever we want it to be at. So again, these tools just make it easier to alleviate some time from you in your day-to-day, so you're not always doing these repetitive tasks. But again, it does take some time to set up. So again, you have to be able to determine whether it makes sense at the stage that you are within your business to purchase a tool like this or hire someone to kind of do those tasks in the meantime. And then once you have the cash flow and everything, go ahead and implement these different technologies into your day-to-day activities. So as you see here, it was able to create this automation just based off of the prompt that I gave it. So the next step would be to select add all steps to Zap. So now it's going to just kind of create that workflow. And then here on the right side, you have the setup. So it kind of walks you through step by step how to set up the workflow. So as you see here, the app obviously is Typeform. And then this trigger event is basically saying whenever some type of action is performed, that's when the Zap or the workflow starts. So it gives you different options. In this instance, because it's the first selection, it's only one a new entry. So for instance, when someone fills out the form and then you have to connect it to the right account. And then once all this information is correct, you hit continue. And then basically, the step before this that you would do is obviously you would have a form in this example that you would want whenever someone makes a submission. That information is then pulled and collected. So I'll just use this one as an example. Press continue. And then the thing it does too, before it confirms that it works, is that it always asks you to test it out to make sure that there's no errors or anything that needs to be corrected. So I hit test. As you see here, it was completed. So now it goes on to the next steps. And then the cool thing here is that it lets you know as well here that it's everything is working correctly. And then as you saw, the same thing is set up. And then here is where, in this example, again, this is Notion. So I would choose where that information gets sent to within our project management tool. So I could just select that as an example. And then the cool thing here is that it's able to take all the different fields from that type form that you created, and then you can place it into the appropriate properties within Notion. So for instance, if I saw a name, and then it's cool here too, it kind of gives you, the AI is able to understand exactly what information you're looking for. So you don't even have to really kind of sift through it. It'll kind of do a lot of it for you. So I'm just kind of going to go run through this. So it's not really a field, but I'll just connect it to that. And then again, there's a whole bunch of other fields, but it's for simplicity's sake and just want to show you how it works. And then again, I'm going to test a step. And then once I confirm everything works, you hit publish. So once you publish it, the Zap is going to start working. So again, in this example, whenever someone submits a type form, that Zap is going to trigger, and then the steps, whatever amount of steps that you set after that initial trigger, it's going to follow, and then it's going to create everything for you. So before I continue on, I definitely want to stop and see if anybody has any questions about like AI, automation, Zapier in general. Okay. All right, so I'm going to continue. Okay, so just kind of going back to the presentation a little bit here. The next topics that I wanted to talk about is social media marketing. So I think everybody knows about social media marketing at this point. And the cool thing with social media now and how it's been probably for like the last decade is that it's a very cost-effective way for small businesses to market themselves and create a great following without having to spend so much advertising dollars. Because how it used to work before social media, unless you were on TV or like radio or billboards and you had the funding to actually invest into those tools, there was really no way to be able to promote your business and being able to grow. So social media really disrupted that and just made it very easy for people who even don't have the budget to be able to promote and grow their business online. The only thing that it costs to grow on social media is still money, but honestly, it's time. You know, if you're able to put time into an effective social media marketing strategy and create good content and connect with your customers, then you'll be able to succeed on social media. So some of the things I want to go into real quick is social media marketing strategy 101. So a successful social media presence, starting with your very first post, requires a well-defined strategy. This includes identifying your target audience, establishing consistent brand voice and identity, and choosing the right platforms that are best suited for both your business and your audience. So the first point here, what you have to do is identify your target audience, understanding things like the demographic, highlighting everything that is unique about them, and understanding all their wants and needs. And then examples like review your customer data, talk to your customers, any other information that you have about your customers to understand what platform they're on, because it ties into the next step. From there, you would determine what platforms they're on. And the thing that you have to understand is that each platform is different. For instance, like something like Snapchat. Snapchat is ideally towards younger, like teens, early adults. And then you have TikTok, which is for more people like probably around 25. And the thing with TikTok too is that it's very video based. And that's the thing you have to understand is when you're creating your content, do you have the capabilities? Do you have the time to invest in creating video content? And honestly, I mean, especially with your phone, you have your phone. you can easily create content to post on like TikTok and Instagram, for instance. But a lot of these social media platforms are kind of headed in the direction of like video and audio based content. So that is something to definitely keep in mind as you start to build out your platforms if you haven't already. And then once you determine the platforms, from there is about deciding the type of content strategy that you're going to have. Depending on the industry, obviously you have a little bit more flexibility. If you're in an industry that's like fun and creative, then you can definitely be more like silly, entertaining. But if you're in an industry where it's more educational, then you have to kind of figure out ways to continue to be educational, but how can you make it more entertaining so that people are going to be more engaged and more willing to watch your content. So those are some of the different things. And then you also want to make sure that when you're creating a strategy to mix the type of content styles as well, not just video, but also images and vice versa. So those are some things that you have to consider. Another cool thing, again, kind of going back to automation and simplifying the time that it takes to create and post content. There's content calendar tools. So one tool that we use, and I'll show you in a second, is called Loomly. It's basically similar to some of these other tools that helps you create, schedule, and analyze like your social media data to basically streamline your workflow and just basically just improve your overall performance on social media. And then a cool thing with a lot of these different tools that they do now is they'll give you suggestions as to what type of content you should be posting. So for instance, if today's like Wednesday, it'll say, I'm trying to think like Small Business Wednesday or something like that, to where you can create content centered around a particular topic without, again, always having to do the thinking of like, what am I going to create today? The technologies basically do a lot of the work for you to make it simplified and easier. So AI's role in social media marketing. AI is, again, playing a significant role in modern social media marketing, assisting with content creation, strategy development, and more. While AI makes these tasks easier, it's essential to remember that it cannot replicate like the human touch, your brand values, or your mission. And again, these remain crucial for authentic and effective marketing. So some of the tools that you can use to assist with writing like captions and creating actual content for you. One is called Jasper.ai. So basically it's like an AI writing tool that helps you create marketing copy, blog posts, social media content, and all other types of written copy quickly and easily. And then another thing is Canva's Dream Lab, which is great for creating designs to utilize in your posts. There are a lot of cases where you might have to edit it because, again, the AI, it's not always able to understand exactly how your brand wants to look visually. So even though it's able to create it for you, you still might have to go in and tweak a little bit of things. And then there's a couple more tools called Lumen 5, which is another type of AI tool, which it basically takes your text from like a blog or article or website and repurposes it into like a video. So as it mentions there, it analyzes the text, suggests visuals, and it can even add music to it for you without you having to manually do the work yourself. So again, there, it's super helpful for repurposing content and also just saving time on video production. So if you're a business that obviously, you know, you're small, you're still starting out, and you don't have the budget to be able to invest into a production company or like a videographer or photographer, Lumen 5 might be a good tool to use while you grow because one, it's affordable, and two, it'll just save you so much time without having to reinvest into other parts of your business as you continue to grow. And then another tool is called Osea, which is AI content creation, scheduling and publishing. Basically, it kind of just helps you create posts in like different languages. It'll suggest different visuals, and it'll just help you plan out your entire content calendar. So now I'm going to show you Jasper and Canva. So let me back. So this is Jasper. So in this example, I'm going to show you how you can use it to kind of create a Instagram caption. So as you see here, when you're setting it up, you can kind of create your own brand. So if you have like multiple, like for instance, for whatever reason, if you had like different brands or different companies that you're working, obviously each company has like a different brand and tone. You can create those different brands. And then while you're creating your posts, you can select whichever brand you're creating the content for. So this example, I'll just use ourselves. And then the cool thing too is that it allows you to upload different materials just so they have like a better understanding as to what exactly you're looking for. I'm not going to do that in this example. I'm just going to hit next, and then it'll ask you what type of message you want to display. So I'll relate it to this webinar. And then if you want to include any type of hashtags yourself, you can write it out here. But if you're like, hey, I just want to see what the AI kind of thinks it will give me, you can just press this here, generate response. So it'll kind of generate some different responses like hashtags and things like that that you would want to include. So I'm going to use that and then just go ahead and press next. And then it asks you how long you want the captions to be. So depending on how detailed you want the caption to be, you can make it as short or as long as you want it. So I'll go just for 125 characters. And then here is where I can kind of add a little bit more content. So target audience, webinar details, or any other custom type of information. And then if you, depending on what plan you have, there's more features that you can kind of utilize. So here it says create an image. So I'm just going to go ahead and generate now. So again, so it basically stuck to the amount of characters that I told it, which was 125 characters. And it was able to spit out this quick, easy caption. So again, if you're pressed for time and you're like, hey, I just want to get some content out there, I just want to be consistent, a tool like this is the great way to go because it'll just save you so much time. And then the cool thing too is you can easily go in and kind of edit it. So if you're like, hey, this is good, but it doesn't really sound like how I would talk, you can easily just go in and change the text, and then you can copy it into whatever scheduling tool that you're using for your social media content. So yeah, so that's it in terms of Jasper. Let me actually go back real quick. That's so I just wanted to highlight real quick. With this tool, it gives you so many different options as to the type of content that you can create. So as you see here, you can easily create blog posts, product descriptions, Facebook posts. It'll give you content for your landing pages, social media campaigns. Like the amount of information and content that you can create and the type of content that you can create with this tool is endless. Again, just making sure that it's replicating your brand and that it is able to communicate your brand in the right way. That's very important when you're using these type of tools. But again, it's able to just take and it's able to create any type of content that you want. So I just wanted to highlight that point. So the next thing that I'm going to show is Canva. So Canva AI. So again, AI, as I've mentioned before, is embedded into like any tool. I'm sure you can look at any tool that you're using and it's using AI to some capacity. So this is Canva AI. You can access it to create any type of design that you want. So in this example, I'll just use like a construction company, for instance. A social media graphic or and again, whenever you're giving it a prompt, you want to make sure that you're as descriptive and as detailed as possible, because the more information you give it, the more likely that it is that it will give you the output that you're looking for. I'll just give it a random name, ABC. So now it's just kind of taking some time based off of the prompt that I gave it. And then in a few seconds, it should spit something out. So as you see here, it was able, I mean, that probably took not even 10 seconds, and it was able to generate pieces of content for you. And again, it's not always going to be perfect. Some of the things that you might have to go in on this is depending on if you have like your fonts, your colors for your brand identified, you'd have to basically just, I'll not do it in this example, just kind of open it up. And then here you can kind of change like the different colors. So if I do that, it'll basically just change the colors of the graphic for me. So it'll take a second. So these might be some different things that you might have to do is go in and like change the colors. You might have to go in and change the fonts, depending on if you like the fonts or if you don't, if it matches your brand, if it doesn't match your brand. So those are just some of the different things that to keep in mind when you're using like a tool like Canva for AI and things like that. Let me go back. So, and you can really ask it to create any type of design you want. So like, for instance, if you wanted it to create like business cards, and then it'll just take a couple seconds. So just here, I was able to just create like some different business cards for the company. And let's say you were like, hey, these designs are great, but I want something a little bit different. Again, going back into the prompt, you can just give it as much information as it wants, and it'll do the best that it can to kind of create something that you're looking for. So yeah, so that's pretty much Canva AI in a nutshell. It's a great tool to be able to help you just quickly create and generate designs for whatever that you need in your business. All right, so now I'm going to transition over to the quiz. I'm going to provide this link in the chat. So there's about 12 questions, and I'll give you guys some time to kind of go through and answer them. And if you have any questions about anything in general, in the meantime, definitely feel free to ask those questions now. I just sent the quiz in the chat. Please let me know if you have any troubles accessing them.
Oh, Mark, is there a code for this one, or?
Shouldn't be. Are you having trouble accessing it?
Yeah, it looks like this one takes us kind of a no poll screen. That's what I'm seeing at least. Feel free to let us know if that's the case for you guys in the chat, or you can come off mute as well. But yeah, maybe it's the wrong link.
All right.
Yeah, no poll for April either. So yeah, I think. Let's see.
All right, just one sec. Let me just log in. Definitely tested it out to see if it was working.
Sure. That was interesting what April said while you're presenting, Mario, about how she uses Canva daily and had no idea that AI was in Canva right now. I'm not sure if it's a paid feature or not, but I know that Canva's been rolling out AI almost everywhere. They're trying to put it into things like video and things like that now. If you follow Canva on Instagram or their YouTube, they have like kind of like presentations and almost like seminars, webinars similar to this, where they showcase some of the new AI highlights. So we use it almost every day here at Everyday Web. So whether you guys are making like content for your socials, or like Mario showed you guys business cards or anything of that nature, you can save so much time now, so much money without having to hire a designer or anything like that. So yeah, feel free to use Canva. If you have any questions, you can always let us know.
So I just sent a new link in the chat. Please go ahead and try that. That should work.
See this one? Yep, this one works.
Perfect. Okay. So as I mentioned, there's about 12 questions related to our discussion within the topic. So I'll give you guys like a few minutes to just kind of run through and answer them. And then afterwards, we'll just have a Q&A. And please feel free to ask any questions that you guys want. me see.
Marty, I think you have to start the poll or something. Just
Should automatically start. Hold on. Okay. All right. There we go.
cool.
All right. So I think we probably have about a few more questions left. Okay. Yeah, no, I think that was it for the quiz. How does everybody feel about the questions and everything? All right. So let me go.
Like me and April tied on both got 11 out of 12 right. So me and April tied there.
That's good. Yeah, definitely wanted to make the questions just more interactive and just kind of recreating some of the different topic points throughout the webinar. Yeah, no, I tried to definitely add some tricky questions in there. So happy that is a little difficult. Let me go ahead and reshare my screen. So just a couple more slides left. All right, I hope everybody's able to see my screen.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so definitely great job on the quiz, everyone. So just to kind of end here, definitely have some additional resources and some different things, like just kind of recapping some of the stuff that was talked about throughout the presentation. So again, we'll send this out to you guys for you to review and have to kind of reference as you go through and you think about how you want to use some of these different technologies, how you want to use AI and everything within your company. So these are just some different resources as well as like terminologies that you might consider as you go through your journey into understanding AI more. So this is the term glossary. So just some of the different terminologies and things like that that was kind of mentioned throughout. Some of them weren't necessarily touched on, like cloud computing and cybersecurity. So especially cybersecurity now, that's definitely becoming a more and more important topic, even within the small business space. So I'll say like that's definitely something that you should really look into going forward. And then again, just some of the different terminologies. Social media. So yeah, that's pretty much it with the webinar. I definitely want to thank you all so much for attending this. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We're always here to, assist and help small businesses out with anything related to not just marketing, but how you might use technology within your companies. So again, if you have any questions, now's the time to ask. But if not, definitely let you guys go ahead and jump off.
Thank you, everyone, for everything. Yeah, we have our email marketing link in the chat as well as our Instagram and such. So if you have any questions, you can DM us, you can email us, whatever you want. We're here to help, and asking us questions doesn't cost money, so we're here to help.
Yep. So I don't know if anybody wants to come off of mute, but if you don't feel comfortable doing that, that's definitely fine. You can just go ahead and type your questions here in the chat. So we'll take a few minutes if you want to do that.
So there's no questions right now, but
Yeah.
let's learn something.
All right. Well, yeah, I think we'll let you guys jump off. Again, we'll be sure to send out this email with the slides and everything for your reference. But again, if you have any questions, again, please feel free to reach out. And we just want to thank you guys again for attending this webinar. All right. All right. See you guys. Bye.